Yeah, it's normal world, or should I say, hold on, the NERDROTIC takeover of normal world. Oh, there's sound effects. And then you can come back to me. Yeah, there it is.
Whoa.
Gary Buechler.
Hi.
In the room. What's up?
I'm frightened and confused. I'm hearing voices in my head. I'm in a studio.
That's
not used to this at all.
It's any other day, really.
I'm sure it is for you.
Yeah, it's just a lot of voices going on all the time. Gary Buechler, host of the NERDROTIC channel, or
Sure.
are you NERDROTIC? Like, how do you like?
No,
want to be
I'm
presented?
host. I'm
okay,
host.
host of, not born as NERDROTIC.
No.
Okay, that's good. Next, actually, joining us here in studio is Eric July, founder of Ripperverse, host of the Eric July channel, killer of freaking detractors,
Destroyer.
all day long.
I try out here, man. I try, man. I appreciate you having me on, by the way, man. This is sick.
Absolutely.
This whole setup's sick.
Thank you. Yeah, dude, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about nerd stuff now that Dave has left. He's not with us today. He has family stuff to do. What is up with that? I don't know.
Well, it's always
Priorities.
tough, after 2 weeks of work. You need to take a week vacation. I
feel
understand
it.
that.
I feel it. We already took the other 2 days off, but it was America's birthday. And in studio is the great Angela.
Oh, thanks.
I wanted to promo you at the beginning of the show and not the middle or the end.
Don't even have to
or not at
acknowledge
all.
me. No, I appreciate it. Thanks.
So I'm very happy that you're here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So today I wanted to talk about, because we don't get a lot of time to talk about this stuff on the other shows that we all do, is pop culture and the kind of subversion of therein, of our pop culture.
Of their end. Kind of lost it, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did. But yeah, I wanted to bring you guys on because a lot of the kind of political shows, they don't ever talk about that, and I wanted to kind of bring that into this sphere because the Blaze is so gracious and brought us on and doing this show, and I want to kind of bring that into this culture as well and kind of cross those bridges.
Yeah, I feel like it's being recognized more now, and we're seeing a few people kind of wade in the waters of pop culture because, quite frankly, the pundits on the right have been losing this culture war badly because they completely misunderstand pop culture, gaming culture, comic book culture, movies. They all think it's childish. It's, nerds in their basement. And not everybody, of course, our boy Benny understands it. People who understand
Johnson.
it. But it's a really important part of this culture war because pop culture is American culture, is this country's culture. And, in Europe, too. That's a commonality that we've all had, and that's why we're fighting for it. Because as Eric and I, or I shouldn't say that, but as I'm going to con, I just blew it.
You did.
I did.
You're like, don't tell anybody.
As I'm heading to Comic-Con with somebody, I shouldn't have said. Shit. This is the place where we used to all gather in one place and not worry about the politics and just kind of have fun. But that has been poisoned by corporate culture, mostly activism, which has always had like its little place there, kind of like furries. But it's like the activist furries have taken over.
Yeah,
I think that's a good description. The activist furries have taken over pop culture.
Oh, they think it belongs to them, certainly. But I mean, you bring up a great point. This is a point that I've been emphasizing certainly here at Blaze over the years, just how important this stuff is to. Just in general, like you can really keep your pulse on like where America's going, really by paying attention to what's happening in its comic book culture as well. Like, Gary, you can obviously speak to this. A lot of what you see in the pop culture stuff started off like in the comic books. We saw it there early on, and it infested everything else. So, it is something that's very valuable. I tell people this all the time, like even for these folks that are on the right or whatever you want to call it, they like to think that this stuff doesn't matter. I'm like, man, you ask your kids about it.
Matters to them.
It matters to them, and if you don't think that they're listening to their favorite streamers or their favorite artists, then get picking up on like even who to vote for or what political ideology to uphold. you're out of your mind, man.
Right.
Especially when you mix in the public which all that stuff is kind of tied in when you mix in definitely the public education and all that. So, it's something worth paying attention to. And Gary's right that now more than it has been previously, people are more open to this idea that this is important stuff.
Well, I think it's because we're seeing more and more of the effectiveness of commentators like yourselves, or like Friday Night Tights that I'm a part of. We go after those people that go after us.
Yeah.
They say nerd culture is for children, and then it gets infiltrated by all these political ideologists, and over time it destroys the product. So then normies go, okay, we don't want to go watch that movie anymore. And we're seeing it after, like, one after another fail. Like, just last week, Indiana Jones crashed at the box office, just demolished itself. And then before that, and then before that, and then you have all these different products that are just crashing because of those conversations that we've been having. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why it's safer now to be like, okay, yeah, pop culture, that's pretty important now.
Yeah.
We should start talking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no wonder it's really important, because it's storytelling. That's one of the things, like, our human, the human condition is about storytelling, telling stories to each other, moral stories, and how to pass down knowledge, right? And that's what comic books are. That is what video games and movies and TV show and all these things are, is just a form of storytelling and how to pass our culture to the next generation. And if you don't watch that, then it can be completely subverted.
Yep, 100%.
It's being subverted. It's being edited,
Right.
And it's being erased. We're seeing even shows being canceled and just be memory hold, and which could open up another that's another rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
So it was very hard in the beginning to do this, because we were dealing with these people who were just like, it's just Star Wars, it's
Right.
just Star Trek, who had no understanding, and that's understandable, but had no understanding what it was like to be a lifelong nerd and know how much it was ingrained into our DNA as Americans, right? Nerds.
Think about it, like Superman, Captain America, all of these moral compasses that a lot of kids grew up with and had those guys as like, that's the ideal. That's how I should treat people, is through these comic books. And they got completely destroyed. Like, I mean, that's a testament to, like, the comic book industry right now, other than yourself and other great indie publishers. The mainstream comic books in America right now are tanking as well.
Oh yeah, they're in a complete decline. I mean, people, they do these creative things to try to fuzzy up the numbers to make it seem
Right.
like it's not. But if you actually look at the trends, and you can see that definitely comparison to previous decades, the unit sales specifically, they're down. Like, it's not up for dispute. They're down. It wasn't even like we could get it, like, pinpoint the accuracy anyway, because of, it's not like what we do at the Riververse, where most of our customers are direct customers, not the retailers. Like,
Right.
So for them, it's like the book they'll count it as a sale either way it goes, even if the book's on the shelf collecting dust. But they are tanking, even by that metric. Even right now, you see what's happening with Diamond. Diamond doesn't even make the numbers
Right.
public anymore. Penguin Random House doesn't make the numbers public. Lunar doesn't make the number. It's a guessing game. And if they were doing great, they wouldn't stop talking about it, for sure. That in itself is indicative of how much the issue is. But yeah, you see this decline in really all these different aspects of entertainment right now. And I think people are becoming more aware, especially normies, are becoming more aware of this cultural kind of rot. And I think a lot of it has to do with kind of the them kind of overplaying with the whole children stuff. I think that did it for them. And I think that was the subject matter where some people were like, okay, something isn't right. Like, the fact that we're having this weird conversation about trans kids or this whole drag queen stuff. Like, I think for a lot of people, that finally snapped them out of this sort of trans, for no pun intended, where they were like just going on with it, for a very long time. So this is why, we talk about the Iron Age, we talk about all that stuff. I don't think there will be a better time maybe in modern history than right now to be a creative, because you're having two things go that are in your benefit. You have the decline of what people consider the sort of not just the mainstream, but the establishment stuff. And you have an opportunity, unlike anything before, where people, especially normies, are like looking for something else, and they're willing to hear you out a lot more than what they had been before. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it's like the burn in a forest, and it's got all this fertile ground in every different vertical you could think of, like video games, movies, comic books. Like, all these places are fertile ground for creators to go out there and create their own thing. Because I was thinking for a long time, like, we were trying to save the things we loved, right? Comic book industry, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, those things that you love. You want those things to continue being the great things you loved, but they're never going to be that again. So now it's time for you to take your inspiration, the love that you have out of that, and then use that to make something else. And that's what you've done so greatly right now with your second campaign.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that thing's going to be fucking huge. And so many people are mad about it.
Yeah. They're angry.
They're very angry, dude. Like, take that energy and go make something yourself.
Yeah, no, they're angry, and I think it shows that this was something that they were scared of for sure happening, because we need the commentating. We need people to call this stuff out, and what they were scared of was that people were gonna use that energy to then create something great. And with the Rippaverse, there's other examples of it as well, but once they see that they can't really control it, the usual tactics don't really work. Whether it be the whisper networks of the trying to cancel people by way of going to their distributor or going to their publisher. That stuff can't happen to us. So it's like we control every aspect of it, and this is about as organic as it possibly can be. So there's nothing. They have to sit up here and watch their ideological enemies succeed. But also I think it speaks to, they had this perception of all of us in this space, right? You didn't like women. You didn't like people that were not basically white. You hated this type of person, hated that type of person. And you didn't want to see these types of characters. And the existence of the Rippaverse obliterates all of that. And so this is why I say it's just as much a part of or about the audience as it is about us, because you can think they're watching their arguments be shattered in real time, because they said no, there's no way that, you said something against X character where you don't like black characters, right? And so the existence of ISOM and the existence of the Rippaverse shows that was never the position. And they hate that, you have something brand new that's getting all this sort of support behind it, and there's nothing that they can do. They can sit up and screech. It's about all they can do.
That's all they have.
Is yell on Twitter, but ultimately they can't stop anything. So
yeah. So Gary, coming from you owned a comic book store for over 10 years, and
I did
in San Diego or San Francisco.
San Francisco.
What is it from that angle that kind of got you into talking about all this and made you go, I need to get my voice out there?
Oh, because I just slowly started realizing that this is absolute bullshit we're being sold by the access media, the media, just in a realm that I knew a thing or two about comic books. And I'm like, these are not, Squirrel Girl is not a good comic book. America Chavez is not a good comic book.
Nobody's buying
Miss
these
Marvel
books.
is not popular, but I'm being told this over and over again. And I mean, this went on for years. And, your boy Zach was one of the first people I saw actually calling this out with a great video. Captain Marvel is everything wrong with Marvel. It's a classic YouTube video. It's perfect. And it still is. Yeah. It's still everything wrong with Marvel. We're just finally seeing this giant monolith corporation paying the price for their arrogance, for trying to try to buy their way in to Hollywood. And I mean, that's essentially what Disney did.
Yeah.
They bought their way in. They were never known for being this studio that cranked out live action movies. Yeah. So they bought their way in with Star Wars and Marvel, and they slowly just absolutely absorbed it, assimilated it into the Disney fashion. And so, yeah, I'm sitting there one day just reading my CBR when they were normal.
They were sane.
And they're saying oh, this is a really popular character. I'm like, no, it isn't. Never sold a damn thing in my shop, and I'm in San Francisco.
That's their ground. That's their home base. You should be able to sell there.
But I'd talk to 20 people a day on average.
Yeah.
Right. 20 different opinions every day for 10 years. And you hear basically what the comic fan likes. And it turns out that the modern audience is the same as the old audience. They just like good stories. They like to see their heroes being heroic, men acting like men, women acting like women. If you ought to make one character gay, okay, Aqualad, all right. I always thought he was kind of gay.
Understandable.
But now everybody in the DC universe is gay practically, and it's ridiculous. So, I started seeing that, and I just, especially with Doctor Who, I just said one little thing one day. It's like the Doctor's a dude, and people blew people's minds. They freaked out. So, I just started, it's this whole thing of 2 + 2 = 5 that the entire media apparatus has been trying to push on us for years, and they're finally losing. They overstepped their bounds, and I'm talking about all of corporate media, the big tech, all the fortifiers, and it's obvious that the message matters to them because we had these giant studios that were in competition with each other. We had publishers, comic book publishers, who were in competition with each other doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. If your competition is doing something poorly like Marvel, I would do the opposite and make more money. No, DC's like, hold my Bud Light. We'll do something way more gay. And they did.
It's like the fantasy films right now. There's fantasy films, there's TV shows, and none of them are doing a sword and sandals, like hardcore, violent fantasy about men saving women and just do that. That market is empty right now. And for all the people that want to see that, they will go to your movie. Because right now, all I'm getting is feminist, and feminist.
Wait,
and gay
you missed
feminist.
a feminist.
Oh yeah, there's an extra feminist there.
Yeah.
It's like Rings of Power was garbage. Wheel of Time was garbage. Willow was garbage. You're covering all of these bases with the exact same product.
Dude, just in the last 2 weeks, we've had Flash, Strange New Worlds, a horrible Star Trek show, Secret Invasion, Indiana Jones, and I just watched The Witcher 3, and the Writers Guild is on strike, and that is not a good argument to bring them back. It is awful. That's just in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's a ton of them right now that are just crashing, and I think it's
good.
We were talking about. It's good,
and that's a good thing. Like the Access Media likes to say, and people go, you want it to fail? We don't want the medium to fail. The medium's not going to fail. The art's not going to fail. Filmmaking is not going to fail. Hollywood can fail though.
Yeah,
I'm okay with Disney failing completely.
Same.
Universal can stay around. They seem like they kind of try to stay out of this.
Yeah, they're trying
a little bit. But Amazon can burn, Disney can burn, Paramount can burn. Don't care.
Me, I wouldn't. I mean, like I said, I look at it, and for all those years, definitely all those videos, I look at a long catalog of me videos doing reviews and all that. I guess it's cool to look at those, and they'll always be there. But I spent so much money, man, pull list hundreds of dollars throughout the week, and I'm like, they're not making this stuff with myself in mind, right? It's not who, I don't know who it is, and maybe the person, it's not a maybe, the person that they're trying to cater to doesn't exist, or they don't have the capital to actually buy it or care enough. They might, pirate it and then talk about it on Twitter, but outside of that, they're not really engaged in this medium. So I was like, you know what, I'm through with this. And I started putting a lot of energy in the other stuff. And, it's a fulfilling process, certainly for me, as opposed to me banging my head up against that. Well, more so I just spent way too much money on like, y'all got to understand, like, I was spending a lot of money, like, I'm not talking
So you're
about,
the target audience for the comic book industry.
Well, you loved customers like you.
Yeah, I'm spending it. And I know it had to pain my local comic book shop when I went up there, and I'm like, hey, we're done. Like this week, I after this week, I'm done. Take everything off of there. I might come in, get some back issues, but outside of that, I am done here. So, watching these massive mega corporations, which really that's what DC and Marvel are tied to, with Warner and with Warner and Disney. So for them to fail, for me, it's like nothing. I'm like, all right, well, y'all keep doing what it is that y'all do. It's an example of what not to do. We can certainly learn from that as creatives. But saving it, it's not worth it. I look at like those books that I have that are in my long box, they aren't going anywhere, you know. So I used to be attached to it like that. Now I'm like, oh, they can burn. They can certainly go down, and they are. I mean, what Disney's doing right now isn't sustainable. They're losing too much money back to back, billions of dollars with streaming services. We see what's happened with Strange World. We see what happened with Elementals. We see what's going on with Indiana Jones. Crater just got taken off after 7 weeks as a $50 million hole. That's not a sustainable practice. And more importantly, they don't have anything coming down the pipeline where they can say, this is gonna get it. Like it's not the Marvels, right? Like that.
Come on, this is the time. This is the time because the writer strike. They're about to hit the actor strike. They're not making products right now, and the products that they were making
aren't good.
So
they're going to be delayed again.
Like, this is the
theaters
time.
are going to be hurt again. And what Eric? Customers like you, so there's like the big customers at a comic shop, depending on the size of the shop, there's like 10 or 20.
Yeah.
You carry the entire shop.
Yeah.
So these 10 or 20 customers like Eric carry the entire shop. The rest of the subs are kind of inconsistent, or they just get a few books. That you are the hardcore fan, and that was all of Hollywood's big mistake. They thought Marvel and DC thought they could move past the hardcore fan. Didn't give a crap about us anymore. We're the ones who shepherd the new fans in.
Facts.
We're the ones.
the whales. Like you got like they're the first people that you should be watching at all times and be like, or how are they feeling about the industry? How are they feeling about the books we're putting out? Because once they're gone, then the whole industry falls.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna have the kid that walks in and buys whatever off the shelf because there's no store anymore.
Yeah.
It's completely gone.
It's gone.
That's what sucks about it. I mean, we've seen so many local comic shops just go under as of recent, looking at some of the practices by Marvel and both DC, and just giving people books that they literally can't sell. They can't give them away, let alone actually sell them. And it's sad when you look at like some of the titles that they're putting out. And there's no humility about the industry. And I know we talk about writers in Hollywood. It's very similar with these writers in comic books as well, where there's no self-reflection. It's no like,
at all.
Okay, we're not
or awareness.
Yeah, no. They certainly don't have awareness situationally or at all, because anybody that will be able to pick up game would say, all right, well, this sucks, or we're getting this response. We probably should pivot on it. Yeah. And I don't know what editors do anymore. I don't know if that's a thing. Like, I know it's in title, that's what they do. But like, as far as there's no Jim Shooters around.
No, I think that
anymore.
was the plan. That was the plan, is like to not just replace the artists and the writers, but to replace those people, the producers that are producing these movies, the editors that are going, hey, the tastemakers, basically going like, these are what we should do. Cut that. That's too, it's playing down the field of politics too hard. We need to rein it back. Those people are all been taken over by these positions of kids that are coming out of college that have been indoctrinated from college. They go in and like, this is how the world should work, and I'm going to force it. And then that's where we are right now.
Yep.
But I mean, I think we're at the tail end of that. I feel like silver linings. Hopefully, I'm seeing that.
I think we're at woke fatigue.
Absolutely,
absolutely, we're at woke fatigue.
Oversaturation.
And that's, I would love. I've talked about this before, but I'd love for it to be people just waking up one morning going, "We did the wrong thing. Let's do the right thing now." No, it's all because they're all broke and they're getting fired.
Yeah,
and then they're realizing that I worked at Marvel for 10 years and I still have 9 roommates and eat cat food.
Which we don't want.
That doesn't work.
We didn't want you to do that. We wanted you to make good stuff and make money.
The Marvel editors, what happened to the comic book industry it got its detractors like stuck in their head, and they just lived there. And like it really drove the industry. So online critics, I don't believe this for Hollywood, but I believe for the comic books. Online critics drove the industry for a little while. We had Snowflake and Safe Space.
Yeah.
Now, I thank God that happened, because it happened during COVID, and I could make videos on it, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in the history of comic books. And if anybody has a copy of that book and they accidentally mail it to me, you will be greatly rewarded.
I don't know,
but don't do it. It's terrible.
Like
they canceled it, man.
They canceled the damn book, but it was specifically written for online critics.
Yeah.
And in industry.
Yeah.
And that's why that industry was never $1 billion industry. It was a $600 million industry,
right.
$500 million. I think it's now a $300 million industry. If you don't count manga, of course.
Yeah.
which they have to start doing now because
That's the only way they know
Because
to
it's
sleep.
the only
embarrass
way.
the American comic book industry.
And
It's
that's
so
the part
sad.
about the humility that aggravates me, because I always bring this up about I just could not see Jim Shooter era Marvel, which he basically facilitated the most successful era of Marvel. And I couldn't imagine like the Japanese making their material and it being so popular in the West and them just sitting back like, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna take credit for it.
Yep.
Like, no, there's no way they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh no, that's not supposed to happen. We're the ones that influenced them. We're supposed to be competitors because manga, and I say this as a guy that has a shelf full of this stuff. They're not doing anything different from what they had been doing in decades past.
yeah.
Nothing. The stories are generally the same beat, especially the shonen stuff. It's the same beat that it's been for a very long time. The difference is that, comparatively speaking, in the West, it's just crap. So people...
They've got no competition.
Yeah, so they have nothing. So, of course, it's not that people don't want comics. They just want something that's solid. And that's what manga did. It was just by sheer existence. They're like, hey, we make comics. And yeah, sure, you got to read it the wrong way. But it's comics nonetheless. And it doesn't even have color, you know. But what people are gravitating towards it because it's just so much better than what Marvel and DC is putting out. And like I say, that's where the humility should be. And they should have some self-reflection. Definitely as competitors, you look at like, what's the fabric of like American culture, like innovators, they don't look at that and they're like, oh well, we're just gonna bend over. Like, no, they're usually like, we're gonna compete. And you right now with the growth of manga, we should be at the most, a creative renaissance unlike no other from the mainstream guys.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you need that competition to make yourself better.
Exactly.
Like Tesla and Edison fighting each other and making that industry better.
Yep.
And you need that in the comic book industry. Now, like you said, they just rolled over and went, that's us. We're going to take credit.
When Marvel
We're
and
still
DC
doing
were
great.
at each other's throats,
was
stealing each other's
Right.
talent,
Yeah.
it was absolutely their best times. But we don't get competition anymore. That's the problem.
That's something I think that's a cultural thing because that's something that they fear. And they look at competition like it's something negative, which is why, we got the pushback it is that we get pushed back on because, of the dollar amount it is that, like, for example, we're making. And, these people get so aggravated at the idea of that we dare to try to turn a profit. You know what I mean? Like,
this is America.
yeah, like this, I'm running a business here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I have artists to pay. I have employees to pay. And I want to make sure that they get paid. As hashtag comics broke me is a thing. And you see these people going on and winning all these awards. Or I'm Eisner nominated. And, to what Garrett just said, Eisner nominated, but you have 9 roommates and you can't afford your food. Like, there's a problem there. There's an issue there, and you need some level of self-reflection in order to take that and do something that's going to be better. And they just don't have that about them. They look at it like the audience is wrong. So you're wrong, and you're incorrect because you won't buy or support our stuff.
There should be a new Eisner, an Eisner for people who've won an Eisner and then put up the most GoFundMes for rent. That's the new Eisner.
That'd be very competitive of an award for sure.
I have a question for Eric because you've been in the kind of both fields, right? You've been in the nerd and in the political sphere. Why do you think it is that, because we've talked about a little bit that there's a lot of pushback on the whole idea of comics and all of pop culture being for kids and not having that recognition. Why do you think that is?
Man, that's I think this is something you got to look at kind of history because it's not just applied to like comics and all that stuff. It's applied to music as well. I mean, conservatives went through that element of like talking down on like metal and punk rock music, even though you look at the Johnny Rottens of the world, like you think that they shouldn't be like that, but they have historically been that way where they would shun. So I think it's a combination of both of those where it's like what came first, I guess, the chicken or the egg. And this is why I said it wasn't just that they were down talking it. They also neglected people that were in those spaces that may have more ideologically aligned with them, but they wanted nothing to do with that sphere. Yeah. So this is why when you look at like where the youth tends to trend towards, definitely politically, that's because all of those spaces, video games, we talk about music, as well as like the comic book stuff. Those were all industries that you thought, well, who cares about those? They don't ultimately matter. And that got you in so much trouble. And it's hard to, I guess they think that each and every individual just doesn't care, I guess, about this sort of stuff. And it's like, no, I mean, that's never been the case. People, this is stuff that people value. You mentioned earlier, like Superman. These are they transcend comic books. Like, this is part like of American culture. To neglect that is strategically stupid. And I've been making this point for a very, very long time. People that when I used to do all those speaking engagements, definitely in the 2010s, that was one of my leading things. I talked about culture all the time. And I was like, we have a direct line of sight with wherever subculture that you belong to, and that's your ticket to the victory. It's not generally going to happen to pop. Breitbart at least understood that.
Absolutely.
And he knew that it was culture first, politics were on the downstream. And so many people that are libertarian or conservative seem to think that just having the best, brightest ideas with your little stupid suits on, and that's the only thing it is that matters. And it's like, it's never been that way, and it's especially not that way now. You think the left it wins culturally because they have the better ideas? Of course not. They're stupid. They can't even debate their ideas at all. But they do have control of all of those mediums, and they're the acceptable voice. So until that changes, that doesn't change. So strategically, if the idea is to win, you got to pay attention to this stuff. You have to.
Absolutely. All right. We're coming here in the middle of the show. I want to do a little game with you guys. I got some questions from the audience, and we're going to play 270 seconds. All right. I got questions from the audience. First question from Carrie Smith, a friend of ours. Carrie Smith.
Carrie.
What's up?
We
Can't
love
wait to get
Carrie.
you on the show. How the path to success is lined with failures when you're going through. What has kept you guys going?
Ooh, man, for me, it's obviously family, my lovely wife, and just the fact that what we're doing is impactful.
Gary?
Same. Family, and I'm just too dumb to give up.
I love
Tenacious.
that.
I think that's the term.
Yeah.
Asher, when's the next album? I think that's a question for Gary. Is it?
That's a question for me for sure.
When is Backwards going to release another album?
All right,
That's
so
what I want to know.
we're shooting a music video.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
In August, first week of August. That'll be kind of our return, and I can't wait because man, the 2 songs that we're doing a music video, they're super heavy. So yeah.
Nice.
Love Backwards. From Jane, who is the next legacy hero to be emasculated?
Ooh.
I mean, we just had Indiana Jones, Han Solo before that, Luke Skywalker, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man.
Oh,
I don't know if there's any left.
I mean, they killed James Bond, and they mostly emasculated him. But I think they're going to emasculate him again. I think we're at repeats now at this point.
We're at the reboot stage.
The remakes.
Yeah.
Damn. From Horny Alf, why are you gay? This is a big question in the chat when I asked for questions.
I didn't see that.
A lot of those. Why are you gay?
Why?
Yes, that was the
I'm
question.
just gay for Horny Alf. That's all.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Horny Alf. Appreciate you. User 8869, why do you hate man pulled back hair in a very utilitarian style for comfort?
Man buns?
Well, I mean, this is a question
Why
from
do
the audience.
Because every time I see a man bun, I think of a Whole Foods employee.
I don't get this.
Yeah.
Do you tell like
I think
when
of
you're
open
sweating,
mic.
you want to get hair
I think
all
of
over your
open mic
neck?
in San Francisco with some guy who rides a
think that's a
unicycle
problem
around
with-
with
that's
his
a problem with
knickers
you.
on, and he walks a little dog, talks with a heavy lisp.
You're just giving him the hairstyle. Like why can't men take it back?
Are you a samurai?
Could be.
If
I
you're
don't
a
know.
samurai,
I don't know how
if you're
many
a
lives I've
samurai,
lived,
if you
man.
walk the earth, righting wrongs as a samurai, I would accept it.
Well, I'll try. Darth Call, my boy Darth Call, what's up?
Shut up.
For Eric, how fast do you think that the indie comic market will expand?
Oh man, it's gonna happen quick. It's hard to say how fast, but I think in this next year, you're gonna see some absolute explosion. I think we were one of them, obviously, but we're not gonna be the only ones for sure.
All right, from Trucker Rob.
Oh,
Trucker Rob, what's
what's up, Trucker Rob?
Why?
Trucker Rob, I can talk.
Just why?
Why?
Just says why.
What? Why?
I think it's an existential crisis he's having.
It is.
Yeah. From Horror Amarada.
Shut up.
Another
I
friend
can't say
here.
her name.
You want to try?
No.
All right.
All right, messed up Trucker Rob.
What do you think What do you think you need to do to get more higher class detractors?
I'll become a leftist. I guess that's my only way to do that.
Yeah.
For sure. Maybe then I get more detractors like myself. But yeah, those guys suck.
Yeah, we have more work to do. If we're defined by
Honestly.
our detractors,
Yeah.
we're still very
Whoa.
retarded.
Whoa! From Dad's Den, weirdest food you've ever found in your beard?
Pineapple pizza was
You
a pleasant
disgusting
surprise.
freak. Why'd you bring that up?
And I ate
hate
it
you.
slowly, and it was good.
God, it was all juicy and acidic, and it burned your skin.
Yeah.
Eric?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, really anything you eat is going to end up in there. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
So whatever I eat, I don't eat a lot of weird stuff. So,
Angela?
You got me on that one. I don't know.
Dang it. All right. From Richard, would you rather watch... Okay, this is an audience question here. Would you rather watch 12 Years a Slave with a group of inner city kids and explain why affirmative action is being stopped? Hold on. Or 2, watch Schindler's List with the Hebrew high school and explain to them why Mel Gibson had some good points?
I'm going with the former for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could be like Mad Max, cool. It's a good movie. I'd say former.
Sure. That's a hell of a double feature.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Good movies. Let's see here. I get 3 more. Lone Star Wolf. Does Gary have his Bon Jovi song ready?
Failure is not an option.
Subscribe to Dan.
I'm starting to write the song for Dan Vask.
Oh, you're that confident.
I am that confident.
That's confidence. That's confidence right there. Dave69, would you rather take the vax or watch every single movie Tyler Perry has ever produced?
Oh, that's easily the latter. I can do that.
Tyler Perry.
I feel like I've done that already.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I've never seen the movie, so it'll all be new.
Milton.
And I'll be alive.
this time. That's true.
No myocarditis, that's for sure.
Won't be having a seizure.
Yep.
Milton A. Lane, how difficult has it been expanding your businesses? That's a question for both of you.
Oh man, I'm still playing catch up. For me,
Yeah.
I mean, our business exploded like in a month, and I was not anticipating it. So we're still catching up. So it's been a very difficult because you know to get people that you can trust. People talk about our team. You know, we have a great team here, but that's all calculated. You know, and finding members that can be just as valuable and just as good as them is a very difficult thing to do. So it's difficult.
Yeah, the growth the channel has been kind of it's been slow, and it started happening more when I brought on people I truly love and trust, like Garrett and Perry and X-Ray Girl. And once they were there, I was able to do more work. But it's been a kind of a slow growth. Methodical. It hasn't been difficult to expand. I mean, I curate my channel, so I say no to a lot of things. I don't want it to get too big.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but I don't want to be some corporate thing. I just want to be the idiot in a room.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Eric July. I don't want that heat, man. I want to be like the guy right in the middle.
Eric can,
like you can have it, bro. You keep that
Eric
shit.
can have it. No, because Eric can handle multiple people. I
Feel like
3
focus.
people is like enough for me. That's the max of me.
The NERDROTIC team's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
We got a pretty solid team.
It's pretty good.
And that was 270 seconds. Play the stinger again. Perfect. So, what do you think the future is with all media? Other than Eric July just taking the entire industry.
Eric said it, and I totally agree. I think everything gets decentralized, and it turns into kind of an artisanal, local thing. So you're not going to have, sure, you'll have some big stuff, but you're not going to have these big entertainment conglomerates. You'll still have, until we fix our monopoly laws, or I don't know, even enforce them. I don't even know why we have them, to be honest with you. There'll be like 2 tech companies that control everything. But as far as like making film, making comic books, making web shows, podcasts, it's just going to be everybody. It's going to be everybody. We are the entertainment now. We are the media. That I can't make a comic book, but you know what? I'll be the entertainment media part of the Iron Age. No problem. I'll do that all day long.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the future is going to be.
Taking over those spaces.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder to find stuff, but there'll be so much of it out there. It'll be good.
That's really the entire internet at this point. Like, there's not 4 channels on TV anymore. There's 80 channels, and then there's the internet, and then there's streaming.
Yeah.
And you're just going to go and find the thing that you like.
That's what it's going to be. So you're not going to see, if it continues on this trajectory, which I welcome, it's going to come with a lot of uncertainty because... Yeah, it's the day of the mega corporation kind of controlling everything, or at least you having to go through them to get things, to make things happen and get visibility on it. I think those days are beyond us. I think a lot of those first in, best dressed, and this is why so many of them exist right now. But I think it is going to be a far more decentralized kind of thing because it's far more affordable. Definitely now to enter into a lot of these spots. People are making films with just a DSLR. People are making, being able to produce comics, get a great team of people and actually just do it because you can now, used to be the reason why people went to publishers wasn't because they didn't have the talent. It was more so because that was the only way to get visibility on a product and get paid for it. Those days are behind us. I can post something on YouTube or whatever website and I'm good to go. People will flock to it. And again, the Rippaverse was a prime example of exactly that. We were our own publisher, we're our own distributor, and we did all that within a very, very short period of time. And I think you're going to see a lot of that. You'll still have multi-million-dollar companies, absolutely, but maybe these damn near $1 trillion companies that are just controlling entertainment, I don't think that's going to be as much of a thing in the future. Some of them may exist, but not to the degree, and I'm okay with that. It'll be smaller entities that are going to see a lot of success, and like I said, that comes with uncertainty, and a lot of people don't want that. I think that's why so many folks are protective of that status quo because they don't know what that looks like when they see someone like Garrett and he's going to pull in more numbers than the established channels on a live show.
Right.
Like they don't know what that look could, and it's just a guy in his room, right? They don't know what this looks like. So of course they're going to fight like hell to protect that because to be fair, a lot of them wouldn't have jobs otherwise. These guys, it's a lot of back scratching. It's a lot of rubbing elbow. That's how the industry has been set up for a long time. Now just any Joe Blow could kind of get in and be like, I'm here. You like it or you don't. So it's going to have its level of uncertainty, and there's going to be a lot of people left out because of it. And I said this before. Even if the Rippaverse didn't have a spot, this is such a necessary thing culturally that I welcome it in its entirety, a decentralized sort of entertainment system.
It's only a matter of time, really. Like for somebody like yourself to come up and be like, look, I'm done reading these comics. They all suck. I'm done watching these movies. I'm going to go make it myself. And we have a lot of examples like that, like Razor Fist.
Oh, yeah.
He's on his second campaign. He's on his third campaign, actually. He's got his own books, his own graphic novels. We have Shadiversity out there making his own novels and now graphic novels.
Critical Drinker.
Drinker doing his own comics.
Novels. And comics.
This is the time, and again, like I said, but it's that energy I think is going to necessity. It's just coming out.
Yep.
Do you think, I wonder if the mainstream, if they have any brain cells in their head, they'll try to like gang on to this and have their own indie kind of movement?
I don't think it'll be indie. I think what they're going to try to do is the same thing that they've been doing forever, and that's throw a bunch of money at people,
at certain people,
and whether they and see if they take it, even if it's to put them on the shelf. Disney, they've done that. They've done that.
They have.
Yes, they've like, we just want it so you can't compete. Like they'll do stuff like that. But like I look at it, I've said this before. There's no amount of money they could throw at me for me to take it, because if you be willing to pay me for it, you think I can make that much. So I need to be figuring out how I can do that. Is the way that I see it. But because people are able, it's far more attractive for people to be in control of their own sort of ideas and properties and make a lot of money off of that. It's also more fulfilling as a creator to do that. So you're going to get those. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to, as these people start to rise, like say, here's a bunch of money. Come do this for us. And it's going to be a lot more people saying no than they were in the past. Could you imagine, like, a lot of from the George Lucases of the world, everybody believed that they hit a ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Because you did. I mean, music is the same thing. This is why there were less independent musicians, because it's like, at some point you feel like, I'm better than this, but there's only so far I can go without going through the proper channels. Now there are no proper channels anymore.
Yeah, right.
So people are like, I don't have to go through you to do this, to accomplish the same thing. So in some ways, and I think in that way, the mainstream will never catch up to us. It's too much red tape.
It can't.
Too much red tape, yeah.
Because it's too big.
Yeah.
It's too big to succeed. They were talking about this in the Hollywood Reporter the other day. Like, Disney cannot turn on a dime.
Yeah.
We can.
It's a machine.
We can turn on a dime.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the tough one, for a lot of up and coming creators. But there might be some old stubborn guys like me and you who know that, you can't put a price on freedom. And even if a big corporation comes in and buys your thing, there's still strings attached. They're still telling you what to do. Screw that. So hang on to your IP. Look at how many comic creators wish they hung on to their IP.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think entertainment and comic books are even profitable enough for the big companies to give a crap anymore. And that's good. It needs to just go back to being a niche. It's a niche hobby.
Like Comic-Con. Like Comic-Con right now.
Yep.
All of the big publishers, all those big names like Marvel, DC, Disney, they're all leaving. They're all leaving Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con, the biggest comic book convention.
The Comic-Con.
The Comic-Con in the world, and they're all leaving it. So
that says a lot. That's significant. That's a significant thing, and definitely going into this writer stuff. And it's like that still blows my mind. I look at the writer strike. I looked at this maybe potential actors strike, and I'm like, all that's about, like, obviously money. And I'm like, these guys are spending so much money on these products, and they want more of it. That's not sustainable. Yeah. That is just, it's not gonna work. I mean, what they spend, like $400 million on Indiana Jones
with marketing, probably more.
That's insane. And you can imagine that a lot of these writers and actors are like, yeah, we need more.
And that's just one.
That's just one.
Flash underreported. It's the same amount of money as Indiana Jones. We just found out put on another $100 million for Doctor Strange. And I reported it. Well, I talked about it earlier. I know a couple people. And Disney has been famously underreporting all of their budgets. All of these
move their
movies
stuff around.
Have cost $250 to $350.
That's crazy.
Which means none of them made money.
Yeah,
none of them.
Have you guys seen the Indiana Jones Applebee's partnership that's come out?
No.
If you spend $35 at Applebee's, you get a free ticket to see Indiana Jones.
Like at Applebee's, though,
they have commercials for it. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It was In-N-Out or something. Applebee's. That's insulting,
man. Like that's
impressive.
I'm doubly not going to buy a ticket.
Yeah, no way. I don't want to spend that much money on Applebee's. Anyways, thanks guys for being on the show. I appreciate Eric July. Go subscribe. Go buy the book right now. Nice. You can get the first one and the second one.
Yes, you can get both of them. Ripverse.com. You can get both of them.
Ripverse.com. And Gary, thank you so much, my bro. Thanks for being on the show.
You're
all right,
welcome.
I'm going to sign off. I'll see you guys next week. What?
Forgetting something?
What are you talking about? Angela, are we forgetting anything?
No, I
think you're forgetting what we talked about before the show.
Was that for real?
It's for real. Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't think
I don't just come up here because I
serious.
feel like it because I'm not doing anything.
I didn't think you were serious about this. Okay, so look, to get Gary to come on the show, I agreed that he could cut off my man bun, but I didn't think you were serious about it.
Do I look like I'm not serious?
I mean, I can't take you seriously.
Really?
With those glasses.
Well, you better take this seriously.
It's time. What do you?
Just let it happen.
Says it's time.
Where did you put? I know you're hiding them. Don't hide them.
It's right there.
They're fine.
I didn't think you were serious.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
All right, you better get this on camera.
Oh my God!
Gary is
hold on
for the podcast listeners.
Dude, with the scissors.
Gary is got gardening shears, hedge trimmers, or is that what that is?
Let me put it in a bunch so you don't curl my hair off.
These ain't just no scissors.
You're
man.
You're trained with this, right?
I ain't got all day. Okay.
Garrett's preparing the bun.
Okay, one. Don't. Okay.
Don't hurt you? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, am I about to witness a crime?
Basically, like I'm gonna decapitate you. Okay, just act like
Oh God.
Oh Jesus
God.
Christ. Oh Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
he's hacking into it. He's hacking into it. Oh my gosh, he's actually doing it. Okay.
Hang on.
Oh
got it.
God.
Don't move your head.
Please don't move your head.
Do not move your head.
If I scalp you, but your wife might.
Oh my God.
It's like. Wait.
It's holding on.
It's
because
resistant.
It's strong, all right? It's a strong bun.
It's a gay bun.
You got some thick hair, man.
I know.
These hedge.
That's why I got to keep it up off my neck. Is it still on there?
Quit moving.
You need to give it some tension. You have to pull it. Pull the bun. Pull the bun. You need tension. Oh, I heard it. I heard
You
it.
can hear that.
Oh, they can hear it.
Oh, they can hear that for sure.
Do you need me to help you pull it? Sorry,
Yeah,
Garrett.
I need you to hold it up.
Okay.
Oh Jesus, man.
I should have just used clippers.
Just glad I'm not
It's all over.
witnessing a crime.
Here, you're good. Okay. Okay. Right there.
You see what I got to do to get Gary to come on a show?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Here it is.
Are you happy?
I am so happy right now.
All right. I'll see you guys later. Watch it. We're gonna be on Friday Night Tights tomorrow. I'm gonna be wearing a hat. Gary Buechler from NERDROTIC, Eric July. Cut the show. Roll the credits.